So, if, for example, if you analyze a folk tale using psychoanalysis, right? So, a pot in a story, or something like a bowl is representative of the womb.
Right.
Like
Usually,
that. Yeah. And I think I'm not really sure which tribe has this story, but there's a story about how during one of the migrations, there were people who were coming out from under the earth, then they entered into the world, right? So we are taking it literally,
literal sense, right?
Yes, but it could also be representative of the umbilical cord, like that, no? So
I just want to add to this from the book that I just mentioned, Dr. Akko's book, Tracing My Roots. That reference is given, that coming from the, and then it. I won't go deep into it, but it refers to a possibility that they could have originated from a certain area, and they were referring to that. And just coming back to, again, conservation of the importance of conservation of our culture and our, whether it's folklores or whatnot. The poem about the Lotha poem that mentions Manchuria.
Yes, the prayer, I think.
Right. So I don't know the full extent of, the meaning of it and all, but that was also referenced in the book, and where it shows that could play, that suggests that that Manchuria had something to do with where we came from.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
it's very interesting.
Is that important?
And these are
lost that poem or that song,
exactly,
that prayer, then that was one clue or something that we missed out on,
In fact, language and culture is so closely related that we don't realize how our language constitutes and makes our world, because language is something that constructs our thought processes or reconstructs our thought, and thought gives power to knowledge, and knowledge is power, right? So it's like a whole trajectory. So, for example, like in Philippines, there are 92 different words for rice.
For rice?
Yes, because rice is such an integral part of their lived experience. So 92 different kinds of rice. Okay. We, in English, we have adjectives for rice. We have brown rice, white rice, right? Like that. So you can see how the rice plays an important role. So when you talk to somebody from Philippines and you're referencing some kind of rice, you can see that how rice is situated in their worldview. Right. And you also, like, for example, even in the Caribbean, I think there are some 9 or 10 words to refer to coconut, to the various stages of the coconut. Because coconut is such a big thing, right? There's actually a theory called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis that talks about that. And it talks about how we are so constructed by the world. And it talks about how our world is so constructed by language. Similarly, if you look at Hindi, you have the term juta, right? Juta is a culturally loaded word, which refers to kind of untouchability. It implies untouchability. Like when you're drinking something, you cannot let your saliva touch this thing, juta, like that. So these concepts, when you translate them into English or any other language, is untranslatable, like that. So you can see how language. So without the word juta, we're not going to understand the concept of juta, like that, na?
Any examples from the Naga, any of the Naga languages, when it comes to
this?
As in one that you don't find it translatable to the English language, or like
that way,
the meaning, like like how
that way. Yes, there will be words. I can't remember right now, but there will be words which are non-translatable, right? Like that. So ultimately, it's like, so in Mandarin there is this word called lao, which means respect to elders. Okay, and when you and even in our languages we have respect and we have elders, right? That's there. But the concept of lao is very big in that Mandarin society. Chinese culture gives very high regard to respecting your elders. Right?
Yes.
And which is of course there, but it feels as if Chinese culture has it a bit more. So one has to ask the question, like, do we respect our elders because of the concept that there's a word in that language that tells us that that exists. Yes, exactly. Or is it that because this culture exists, where they respect elders so much that this word exists. So it's almost like you cannot extricate one from the other.
Right.